Hi, she's the quintessential 90s sweetheart. In a career spanning 30 years, she's done various films in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi. She's worked with directors as diverse as Mani Ratnam. She's worked with actors as diverse as Amir Khan, Akshay Kumar, Salman Khan, and she's still red hot right now. I'm in conversation with Sonali Bendre for the Danube Properties Filmfare OTT Awards 2024, co-powered by Hyundai. So welcome to the show, Sonali.
Thank you. What a lovely intro. And I love the way you mentioned Mani Ratnam, with whom all I've done is a song. I wish
But it's an iconic song.
And I wish I had done a film with him, but unfortunately that's not happened. But maybe it's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Let's put it out in the universe.
Yes, always. So my first question to you is, uh, you took a break, you had a baby, then you came back, you did television, you did dabbling with so many mediums. Do you feel is there any kind of difference?
Yeah, there is a difference, but being in front of the camera is being in front of the camera. Somewhere there's something similar in that aspect. But the funny part is that, like when you mentioned television, I did television before I had my baby. So when I had done post Sarfarosh Hum Saath Saath Hai, after that is when I actually did television. And I don't know if you remember, but at that time everybody was talking about has she lost it, because television was like looked down upon. And I was doing this show which was called Kya Masti Kya Dhoom, and it was a talent show. I've been associated with this talent show since then, and it was a talent show and a kids show, and I had guests on it, and we used to do all these things. And I think the only other person from movies, if I may say so, that who was on television at that time was Mr. Bachchan for Kaun Banega Crorepati. And then this was the show that had come up, and I was like, I was also at a phase, though I had films for the longest time in my career. I was working with all the top actors and all of that, but I didn't have a so-called hit to my credit. And now here I had bona fide hits, and yet certain things I felt like was just not moving for me. And there are various reasons for it. There are different choices that you make. And I was dating Goldie, and he said that television is really going to just blow up, and there's always an advantage of an early bird thing. And I just held on to that, and I said, you know what, yeah, I've been working for so long. If you remember, Jitesh, at that time, one film used to take 5 years, 6 years, and you would keep going to different sets, and you kept. So by the time, frankly, the money came to you, it was trickling in. It was never like, you've done so much work, you're working non-stop, but there's not like okay, I did so much and I have this. It's very different today. At that time, it was not like that. You did a few ads and you could do that. You put things together, but it was not like what would you call it? I don't know if it's the right word to say it, but you didn't have like a retirement fund. I never want to retire, but you know what I'm talking about, like having that thing. So I just felt that with the way things were going, and after having had the hit and what kind of films that were coming, and I just felt things are really not changing so much. And if I don't take a chance, what's the point? And when Goldie said what he said, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this show. And I really did have the early bird benefit in that. It was also a show on Star, which was a foreign company, MNC, which was in. So, I was paid accordingly. So that kind of gave me, and I came from a very lower middle class family, and I was in movies for the paycheck. I'd come in because I needed the money. So doing that show kind of gave me a little bit of breathing space where I could say, okay, if I don't go to work today, it's fine. If I take a little bit of time off to think and to evaluate something, it's fine. My bills will still get paid. That breathing space is what I was not achieving. And that show gave me that breathing space. So after Kya Masti Kya Dhoom, it was I got married. I was doing Telugu films, Tamil films. I was doing films in South. Actually, in that sense, a pan India, like how they love to call it now. I was like, we were doing it all the time, but now there are these new phrases for it. But yeah, I was doing all of that. I was doing other movies also, and it's only when I got pregnant is when I actually stopped doing movies and stuff like that. I took the break, as you said, at that point of time. But it was not break from work because while that break was happening and while I was growing with Ranveer, I did theatre, and it was the sequel to Tumhari Amrita called Aapki Sonia with Farooq Sheikh. I love him and I miss him even today. But so that's what we did. I really enjoyed it. It was another big chance to take because I mean, just imagine the guts to do a sequel to what Shabana ji is doing. But yeah, I said,
Yeah, that's gutsy.
yeah, it's really. So the thought process at that time was that listen, at the most anyway they say that I'm not good at acting. So big deal, they say the same thing again. But I needed to try it out because a lot of people said that when you did theatre and because of that, your acting skills or whatever, it was important. I said I want to know if I'm acting. I want to know what is this theatre, what is it that I have missed out on. Let me understand it. So it was more a learning for me and I really enjoyed that process. I mean, I was doing that. I was doing that show till literally 8.5 months of my pregnancy. I was doing that play. Once I was done with it, I also realized that for me, I need to move on from things. Like some people really enjoy the fact that they can say the same line in 40 different ways, and it's an amazing talent to have. That's not my talent, and I kind of move on, and I find I get a little bored with it. So I'm like, okay, now what is the next thing? What is the next thing? So theater, I realize, is lovely, but not really for me. I want to move on to the next project. So that was my thing of it, which I understood from it. Then I think probably the only part where I was not working would have been about till Ranveer turned two. So I started with that, went on to doing Indian Idol, then India's Got Talent, and every year I just kept doing this. So for me, I've not really taken a break to come back, so to say. But yeah, fiction has been a bit of time after that.
After a hard day's work, how do you unwind at home? What is your, like, you have a favorite corner, favorite space where you want, and how do you do that now?
So my house has different corners because I think once an actor, every time I look at a corner, if I'm sitting, I'm just looking at what will my background be. I know it sounds mad, but literally, it's like, what will my background be? So if the angle was from here, then if what will it look like behind? I actually think of it like that. So I have different corners in the house, and they all have different significance, and I use it at different times. But for me, the unwinding, yes, I run a book club, so definitely reading. Though that's the negative of social media. Attention span is becoming so less that reading is becoming a challenge.